decir.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marta Robles. As Katia said, I am a flamenco player, but not a very usual one because since I started to play guitar when I was maybe 7 years old, my life was always very related to flamenco already. I did all the conservatorium school since I was a very small child and studied my classical guitar career. But I come from Andalusia, I come from Sevilla, and this is a region in Spain where the flamenco is very important. So even when your family is not dedicated to flamenco, or when you are not a flamenco family or you are not a gypsy, but the flamenco is everywhere around, in the street, in the school. It's something very common in our life. So I always listened flamenco in my life, but I was always studying classical guitar. But when I was 15, maybe 16, I started to notice that I wanted to become um, a professional musician. And I started to travel around, and then I realized that flamenco was much easier for me to actually to make money. Not it's not that I liked more flamenco than classical guitar, but for me to say I'm a flamenco player, that meant that I could make gigs already when I was very young. So I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to learn flamenco because I need to have money. So that was really my reason. So and then I started to mix my studies of classical guitar with flamenco guitar, and that was a totally different world. My classical technique was always very useful, and actually it is, but I realized that I had to study a lot of different new things, a lot of different new rhythms. So my life totally changed. And today I can say that I'm not a classical player. I'm not even a normal traditional flamenco player. I'm more or less in the middle, or maybe I made my own personal style so I can play my own music, because I also compose music in my way. And in my way, it's using a lot of classical techniques and a lot of flamenco techniques. And this is what I do. And that's why for me it's very important to show what I do, or a little bit of my techniques, to the classical players, because I was also at that point where I was playing all the classical and Spanish repertoire, but I missed some Spanish flamenco techniques for those pieces. And I think it's very important when you play classical guitar to have a little bit of knowledge of flamenco music, or at least of Spanish music, because almost all the classical guitar repertoire, it's very, very much influenced by flamenco and south from Spain music. And I think you are all very far in India. This is for us like if you are in another world totally. So, but I noticed these days that Indian music also have classical music, also traditional music, and I think I hope I'm not very lost, but those musicas are also very much influenced by each other. And even I see a lot of Indian elements very, very similar to flamenco. So I think you can, even if you are very far, you can perfectly understand what we are going to explain. I don't know, it's something very interesting for me, and I think it should be for all the guitar players. So I see you all with your guitars. So what we are going to try is to give you a little bit of approach to these flamenco elements that you can use if you want for your classical career, or even if you want to be a flamenco player. As I said, you can make much more money. And Katia now is going to explain you about her
Yeah, it's
way.
gonna be short. I was 100% classical. I'm still classical. I'm originally from Moscow. um I'm playing piano, classical piano, so I'm like from a real classical world. And For me, it was always some sort of astonishing thing, flamenco. I still consider that the pure flamenco um, is like really difficult to become 100% flamenco player if you're from abroad. Maybe because it's something that, as Marta said, you have to leave it from since then you're very little to have it a little bit in your blood, to have those rhythms like so established in yourself. But still, I was working hard to have some sort of approach, because I understood, like, really it's totally necessary for Spanish repertoire, and not only for Spanish repertoire. For guitar technique, it makes your guitar richer, more rich, and um, everything. The strength of your fingers, the touch, some technical elements like rasgueo for sure. And basically, the importance of the rhythm, which we will mention 100 times during today, which is probably one of the most important things in flamenco. I know that flamenco players say that for classical guys, it's more important what to play. And for us, the flamenco guys, it's much more important to when we play it. So I think we can start, no, with the basic thing. So we will, from time to time, share our screen, just so it will be a little bit more visual to for you to understand what we're speaking about. But it's won't be the main thing. So let's go on with our lecture. I'll take this out. The influence on of flamenco.
Okay. I was wondering a lot about what can be important for you that we can explain you. So I'm going to explain with my own words what is flamenco for me. And um, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to give you a history of flamenco part. And I think that's not necessary, because um, you can, if you are interested in flamenco history, you can go and read and go. There are so many very nice books. I would not recommend to just go to Wikipedia or just go to whatever in Google and write flamenco history, because um, there are a lot of things that are very good, but there are also a lot of things that are very bad. And it's difficult to know who is writing and why, and what's the level. So I would go more for books for the history. But as I said, I'm going to say what is flamenco. The flamenco is very traditional music from the south of Spain. It's not gypsies, or it's not only people from Andalusia. It's a very difficult mixture of very different origins. They even say that the flamenco comes from India. I don't know if you heard about that, but they say, a lot of people, there is a theory saying that the gypsies from Spain, they came from India many centuries ago, and they arrived to Spain. That's a theory. I don't know if that's really true or not. But when I hear Indian music, I can believe it a little bit, because there are so many similarities in the scales, in the modes.
Yeah.
Okay, but we can say the flamenco is a mixture between Arabic music also. I mean, it came from Africa when the Arabic people arrived to Spain in the 15th century, more or less. Also with the Andalusian music, who was already there. Also with the gypsies, and many other elements, and they all together became flamenco, more or less. You can say flamenco as a style could be half of the 19th century, more or less. But this is something that the theoretics don't really agree, because I think it doesn't really matter. But flamenco, it's this music that now it doesn't belong anymore to Andalusia, or it doesn't belong anymore to the gypsies, but it belongs to the whole world, because there are players, flamenco players, for sure in whole Spain, but also in Europe, also in America, also in India. There are very, very good players and singers and dancers. I think the singers, it's the most difficult, because when you sing, you have to have the Spanish pronunciation, and this is more difficult when you are not Spanish. But guitar players and dancers, there are many, many professional people all around the world. So I think flamenco today, it's a music that don't belong to anywhere. It's like from everybody. And actually in 2010, the UNESCO said that flamenco was a heritage of humanity. Let's say something, I don't know how to explain, but it's something that we have to take care of, and we have to make it continue existing. There are three very, very important parts in the flamenco. It's the singing, as you see, the cante, dancing, and guitar. And as a guitar player, I say, when you have a dancer, the dancer is the most important. When you have a singer, the singer is the more important, and the guitar is always accompanying. Only you are the most important when you are making a guitar concert as a soloist. Then, okay, then you are more important. But when you have the three elements together, guitar, dance, and singing, guitar is there to help the singing and to help the dancing. This is true. I mean, only when you are a soloist, you can say, okay, I'm the boss, so I play and the people follow me. But for normally, you are the one who is helping the others. The lyrics, I think it's also very important to say, because maybe you don't understand them. The lyrics in flamenco are very typical of any traditional music. The lyrics talk about pain, people who are hungry, people who are crying, love. You can complain a lot with the flamenco music. But I think this is something common of all the traditional musics. So it's nothing very important. Then I have to say that one of the most important elements of flamenco is the rhythm and the harmony. The rhythm, because it's very strict, and if you don't know the flamenco rhythm, you can't play it at all. I think you have to learn the rhythms, you have to learn the compass. I mean, you have to learn to be totally on time. Maybe you can be a bit more flexible in a classical piece, in other musics, but in flamenco, if you say this is 100, the beat, you better keep the rhythm, the beat, because it's something that is very important. So if you want to become a flamenco player, you have to study with metronome. That's very important. And the other thing is very characteristic. common of flamenco, it's the harmony, because we have this typical Spanish or Andalusian cadencia, like this typical sound that I think is very unique. We will show you later. And when you have these two elements and you know these two elements, I think you can start to play a little bit of flamenco. Okay.
Yeah, little by little. Also, it's important to know the main palos, which are not a translatable word, I think, because these are, we can say that different styles.
Yeah.
Like different dances or different types, no?
Yeah, the palos, it's like, the different styles, and it depends on the harmony, on the lyrics, on the rhythm. You have
tempo also.
Yeah,
no?
exactly. And there are the more important are soleá, are alegrías, tangos. But this is something that when you also want to learn flamenco, it's very easy to find. So I don't think I have to explain you now, because it's not so easy to recognize, but there is so much information that you can find it. I see in the chat people are asking
YouTube channel.
I will try to give some information that I think that it could be very useful, but we do it later. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Vale.
Okay, so vamos a compartir. Let's share again. Andrés Segovia said that the guitar is a mountain with two springs, or with two hills, let's say, but one mountain. One is the flamenco guitar and the other one is the classical guitar. Both are equally admirable. This is a quotation of Segovia, although I have to say that Segovia had a strange relationship with the with the flamenco guitar. We're not quite sure if it was jealous a little bit or not, but still, flamenco. Segovia was like a person who influenced a lot, as you know, the development of the guitar, the rising of the guitar, and also the rising of composing for guitar. The main composers were working like in a very direct relationship with Segovia, and the flamenco influence maybe could be more even if Segovia had different tastes. Well, we have no idea about this, but we just know that still the Spanish music is very, very influenced with flamenco, and classical guitar is very influenced by flamenco guitar. These two instruments are really brother instruments or sister instruments. I don't know if you see it feminine or male or female. And during lots of time, they were like almost the same thing. So and even the repertoire, as you can read, become mixed up in the beginning of 19th century and are gradually becoming more distinct. We will speak about the differences on the flamenco sound. Actually, the instrument, the flamenco guitar, basically it's the same instrument. We can speak about minor differences in guitar building. We have to admit that normally a classical guitarist wouldn't play flamenco guitar, and the flamenco guitarist wouldn't choose the classical guitar to play. But the size, the tuning, of course, of the instruments is quite the same. We also have to mention that it was a bit different, the history of a soloist performer, of a classical guitar performer, which appears in the 19th century, while for flamenco it was not quite usual, let's say. No, they were great genius figures, but in a residual form. And also non-guitar composers were very, very inspired with the traditional music. Albéniz, De Falla, Turina, Moreno Torroba, Rodrigo. They wrote many fantastic compositions, getting like very close to the flamenco language. Here we can speak a little bit of similarities of classical and flamenco guitar. As I said, they have the common origin, common history. The instrument is almost the same. It's similar. It has similar body, similar structure, not identical, but very, very close. And we can say that the left hand technique, it's quite the same. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going fast because as we said, we want to concentrate on practical things. Main differences. Of course, this is the pulsation, the sound, the timbre of the flamenco guitar. A little bit the flamenco guitar construction also influences, no, because the wood that use the builders, normally flamenco guitar is a little bit more brilliant. It's more higher, I think, the tone, the frequencies, a little bit more percussive, and maybe less loud than the classical guitar. The repertoire, of course, it's quite different. The flamenco traditional repertoire and classical. The posture, as you can see.
Quito esto. Aquí.
Sí. As you can see, we're using footstools. I'm the classical. I have the classical position.
So Katia is sitting like this, like a classical
you know it.
person, and I never do like, I always sit this way with my zapatilla. Like this. I never use this. This is only when I was a child. Then it's never happened anymore. Everything I play it in. This is the flamenco way, that you can play like this, you can play more like this, but still always your right
across the leg.
Yeah, exactly. And this, I think, is also affect the sound, because if you're playing like this, maybe you have a bit more round. When you are like this, it changed a lot already,
the angle.
Yeah.
Yes, and a very also obvious difference is the right hand technique, which we will work.
Also, we have the golpeador. This, ¿cómo se llama esto en inglés? This thing, because we use many beat strokes. So yeah, my guitar is already destroyed anyway, but it's very important also in the flamenco guitar.
Okay, let's move on. Okay. So we now can divide, let's say, flamenco influence on compositions, on the pieces, actually, no, on composers, and flamenco influence on the technique, the guitar flamenco influence on classical guitar technique. First of all, in the repertoire, we can find many times tonal and modal aspects, and also the modal at the Phrygian scales and so on, which are borrowed from flamenco. The harmonies, I don't know. This is from Fandanguillo de Turina. Asturias. This is also flamenco harmony.
And this is called the Andalusian cadence. I don't know if this is good English.
Yeah, cadenza.
So flamenco is based totally in this harmony. That is, you have. Quítame la pantalla mejor.
Sí.
Okay.
I'm not sure if when we share the screen, can you still see us in the little screen?
Yes. Okay. So what Katia was explaining about these Spanish pieces that you listen this harmony everywhere, it comes from flamenco, or it comes from Spanish music, and it's influenced flamenco and classical guitar. I think we have in the flamenco at the beginning, when there were no flamenco soloists, only guitar was for accompanying the singing. There were two ways of playing, only just two. This and this. It means this is called por arriba, so that was
the upper,
up, because you use the up part of the guitar, and this was in the middle. Just that. So if you could play these 4 chords, you could already be a guitar player, a flamenco player. Okay, that was at the beginning. But from these chords, everything comes later. So from here, then you have the whole cadencia, or from here, you have. This is the most typical Spanish. And if you are thinking in the classical harmony, that's based on, this is the 3rd degree, the 3rd grade, yeah. The 3rd grade, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So it's the same as classical harmony, but we do. And in the classical harmony, the 3rd grade would be minor, but in flamenco, it's major. So this is the big difference, and this is why the flamenco, these kind of things sound flamenco, because you expect to have minor chords, but you have major. So there are 100 theories about these too, but when you listen to this, you already think, okay, this is flamenco, or this is Spanish, South Spain music, okay? And here you have the same. And this, I think Katia said that you hear that in all the Spanish classical pieces at the end.
Yeah. Also, the use of dissonances, dissonant chord is also very typical. The classical composers also use it many times. Well, you could hear also from the chords.
This is dissonant, but for me it sounds already very normal. But you have half tone there, and this is this half tone. It's also very typical. Very typical. Here you have it here. All these dissonants are also really typical.
Very normal music. For flamenco. Yes. And are used to color the classical compositions to this typical Spanish mode. Also, I don't know if you should share or not. We can speak about the rhythmical borrowings from flamenco. Flamenco has this very special flamenco clock. We say of 12 beats, which is not easy at all to understand. We were also doubting whether to getting like very deep into the theme or not. But well, we can speak a little bit now about this flamenco clock. Basically, sometimes it can be simplified to how do you say tres por cuatro, 3/4 and 6/8. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1. The combining the ternary rhythms and all ternary rhythms. The 3 beats, all the 3 beats are very, very typical also for flamenco music.
The thing is that what I was explaining before about the palos, so the styles, you have styles in 4 beats, and you have styles in 12 beats. Okay, and these 12 beats, this is also very difficult to explain, and typical in flamenco, you can divide them in many ways, because you have 12 beats and you could think, okay, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. No, that's very normal. If you see 12/8, okay, but we have the 12/8 doesn't mean that all the accents are in the one. And this is why it becomes difficult, because we have, for example, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2, no, or 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. I have to do it with palmas. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2. This is bulerías, for example, is very typical. But you can also do, and it's still 12, but the pattern change a little bit. Even you can do and continue in 2, because when you do 2 for 6 times, you also have 12. And so there are a lot of different ways of making palmas, of playing guitar. And this is something that the classical guitar also borrows from the flamenco, but I think
in a light way.
In a very light way, exactly. Very ¿cómo se dice? Superficial,
yes, in a very light, superficial way, more or less. And that's why still for us, for classical players, it's one of the most difficult parts, learning flamenco. We can really go forward with the technique and the rasgueos, but this thing.
Yeah, because I think the different in this case, as you can, as musicians, you can understand everything we can explain. I say 1 2 3, okay, you think, okay, that's very easy, but the difficult part is when you have to feel it in your body. I mean, if you want to play
and stop counting
and you do 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2, if you cannot do your foot on the ground at the same time, you are wrong, because you need to do this with your whole body. Or if I do palmas, I do palmas, then you have to see my. This is because the flamenco, it's a music that you have to dance it at the same time. You have to move with it. You have to feel it in your body. You cannot just do it here and say 1 2 3 or 1 and not move. It's very strange. And this, I think the classical world have to learn a little bit from, not only from flamenco, but from the traditional musics of the world. The classical guitar have to learn from Brazilian music, have to learn from Cuban music, from African music, flamenco, all the music that
even jazz music.
Yeah, but the beat is something that you have to have in your body when you play, and not only when you play flamenco, but if you want to be a very good classical guitar player, you have to move with it. I think this is, if I can give one advice, that would be my advice, that you don't only need a good sound. This is something I would say to a flamenco player. You need to have a very good sound, but you also have to have a very good rhythm. And the rhythm is not only in your mind or in your fingers. Your rhythm is in your body. If you don't dance, nobody is going to believe you. This is really the thing that I learned in my whole life. Maybe only that.
If you're not dancing, actually, it's easy to lose it.
To lose it and
all
run
the time.
and run a lot and play very fast.
Too fast. Okay, so we were speaking about the influence. We spoke about rhythm influence, and also we can say that classical composers used many times the flamenco forms of these palos, fandango, seguidillas, malagueña, zapateado, but many times actually, we have to say that they were not copying actually the styles. And they were sometimes using the rhythm, sometimes taking the harmonies, but sometimes we have to admit that they were just giving the name, and a fandango, I don't know, if we take some piece, maybe it has nothing to do with the style of nowadays, because we have to say that the palos and the styles were changing with time.
Yeah,
you know?
The thing is that fandango and seguidilla or malagueña in the classical guitar name of the pieces, and there are styles in flamenco called fandango, seguidilla, malagueña. I mean, these styles exist, but when we were trying to show you two pieces, let's say a fandango from Boccherini or from
Aguado,
and show you a flamenco fandango, then I thought no, because you can hear, of course, some similarities, but it doesn't sound as a real flamenco fandango. So what Kate was explaining is that they take the name and take the harmony, maybe they take a scale and some, but
the
not
inspiration.
But they didn't write a fandango in a fandango style, and that's a little bit confusing, let's say.
Yes. Although I'm quite sure that every time you take the piece that has some certain Spanish name, no, a fandango, zapateado, you really need to go and find out what was a fandango, even if it was different, even if it had a different harmony, even if there are 10 types of fandango different, right? You have to see how it was danced, or if it's malagueña, how it was sang, and if it's zapateado, why it's called zapateado, because zapato is a shoe, so it's a dance which is like a really strong one, made with the feet, and always look for this kind of original themes in traditional flamenco music. We thank God we have almost unlimited source in internet, not only YouTube, but many other pages. So we're quite now lucky to have it all. Here we have some repertoire examples. Curiously, we can see that, no, I cannot, that even soar in 19th century, maybe it's very small, but I can tell you what's written in this piece. This is a fantasy for two guitars, which says in French that these kind of triplets have to be played in a Spanish manner of the right hand called rasgueado. So in 1833, we already had the clear example of the flamenco influence, and Sor, Aguado, Julian Arcas, a great composer, the teacher of Francisco Tárrega, Turina, Moreno Torroba, Sainz de la Maza, Rodrigo. There are many. There's only few of the guitar composers, and here you have non-guitar composers. Of course, Isaac Albéniz was like very, very inspired. We have to mention the Spanish nationalism in music. Everybody, I mean, it's not only composers, Federico Garcia Lorca, also I mean, this was a rising of this kind of Spanish pride of the culture, of traditional
Exactly.
culture.
Yeah, that's 19th century, no? That when the Spanish say, okay, our music is we have to give importance to our culture, no? And then you see, okay, so what is our culture? And then you see, we have flamenco here too. I mean, or we have Andalusian music. So these pieces were written to say, okay, this is our thing, and we are proud of it. And this is at the moment when I think the traditional music becomes very important in the in the classical music. No, I think that's happening in many countries, but also in Spain. So, okay, we are going to read a few things of the chat. Vamos a ver.
Could we please hear rhythm with the E major chord progression?
Here, could we please rhythm with the E major chord progression? Good. Okay, I think you want to play, because I also want you to play. You all have a guitar.
Hola.
Yes.
¿Cómo estás?
Hola. Él lo va a tocar. Ok. Vale.
So I was just hearing you play that chord progression. It sounded very familiar to me because I keep hearing it in Spanish themed movies. Maybe I'm not really sure, so I'm just gonna try. So maybe it's like. Is it something like that? Thank you. I just tried something. I just heard that, so I tried to see if that is something that is flamenco.
This sounds to me very, very flamenco, because your right hand also is quite good.
Yeah. So should I show it once again?
Yeah, okay. So this is what I was explaining before. The way called por arriba, so up part of the guitar.
Okay.
There are many pieces read here, and here one of the most important palos of the flamenco is solea, and it's done in this harmony, okay? And even a lot of things are done in this harmony, but I have to say that in the past there were a lot of things here, and today the guitar players also use all the possibilities of the same harmony, but in other
positions.
Tonalities, let's say. So you have here in A, but you can do the same here. No? Or here. Or you can do it here. You can do it here. I mean, this cadence, it's the cadence. It's the harmony for the flamenco. Everything finished here. Okay, okay. This is like, if you are a flamenco player, you think this is the tonica, the first grade. Yes, okay, it's not the third, as I explained before. It's the first, because you say, okay, first, second, third. Okay, so I'm going to give you now I'm going to try to give some exercises, especially from right hand, because I think the most the difference between classical and flamenco is especially the right hand. Here we all can do the same things. I think we have the same technique, but for the right hand, I think I can try to help you if you are playing Spanish music and you need some techniques. Okay.
Yes, please.
Vale.
How to keep nails for playing flamenco? It's a good question because to play flamenco, you really have to practice a lot of rasgueado. So this part of the nail suffers a lot. So we have to. I mean, there are many manners. Marta has.
My nails are a disaster since I started to play flamenco in my life. So what I do now, I don't know if you can see, but I always have something that I do myself. I mean, ¿cómo se dice? I built my own nail with acrylic, so it's really ugly and bad. But this is the only way I can have a nail in my thumb. The others are with ¿cómo se dice? Shellac. I mean, like this typical
shellac.
Yeah, this thing that you use now for putting something that's permanent, like it stays for weeks. So it's not really glue, or it's something. It goes really well. I mean, it works for me. So because you can still keep a very nice sound, and yeah, but it's always a mess.
I have to say, when I practice, because I normally I play with my own nails as a classical player. I don't play, but when I practice a lot, I just put tape on this part of the nail. I just make some sort of rectangles and put tape, because like really it's quite harmful for the nail.
Could you please explain what is rasgueado? Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Excuse me?
Could you please explain what is rasgueado?
Okay.
Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Rasgueado, yes.
A ver, I'm still reading this thing. Okay. Rasgueado. Rasgueado, it's the technique where you don't play when you use your fingers out or back. But I mean, this is rasgueado. Rasgueado. There are many different techniques. I'm going to try to show you some easy things. Okay. Vale, so I assume that everybody has a guitar, more or less. I mean, what I would like now is to make you all play a little bit.
Everybody can take the guitar.
What I don't do it so much anymore, but what I did for a few years before I start to play, I always do some warming up. That is, I think it's quite easy with the rhythm in 12, as I explained before, and we divide it in 2 times 3, 3 times 2. Okay, that could be for soleá, or for bulerías, or for alegrías. There are so many styles where you have this rhythm, and it starts. I do it like it starts very easy, and it becomes more complicated. Okay, so if we do like I do it myself, and then you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we do the accent in the 3, in the 6, 8, 10, and 12. So 1 is not accent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. 1, 2, 3. You can also say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3. So
are you hitting the strings with all fingers?
I'm hitting the strings with all. If you play whatever chord, you do. Okay,
Yeah.
probably you think it's easy, but the difficult thing is to keep the accentuation.
Yeah,
And
I have
I'm going to write
observation.
it in the chat.
Yeah,
One,
they say, are all the
two.
flamenco players, are there any flamenco players who use natural nails? I think not.
No,
No.
no flamenco plays with natural nails.
No, it's impossible. Impossible.
Okay, so if you have questions, this is, I think it's easier. O sea, you do 1, 2, and 3 is the first accent. Okay, 1.
Yeah. Can I say one thing also from the classical point of view? The stroke has to be like really one movement. As you can hear, Marta is pam, because normally the classical ones we make
Yeah, no,
like a real long journey through the strings. No, it's just pam.
Actually, it's
one movement and one sound.
This is also very important. It's not this way. It's not like this. Tía, ¿cómo hago yo para verme a mí sola? Wait a second. Aquí no se puede
We always see.
Qué raro.
Zefanian, we always see you in the big, and we don't see us.
¿No puedes poner vista de nosotras mismas? Wait a second.
No.
Bueno, a ver.
Es el anfitrión, Mr. de Galería. Maybe.
Ahora. Okay, so what I wanted to explain is that it's not like this, not with your arm, but you have to have
a wrist.
Your wrist had to be very loose, and you have to beat como hacia afuera.
Outside.
Not down, but because what I want is a movement like in, out, in, out, in, out. So at the end, you can have a speed, because if you do like this, you have no time. You need to stay here, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, when we have that, we go to corchea, 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4,
with the thumb.
6. Okay, when we go down with the whole hand and up with the thumb, also with your wrist out. Okay?
Yeah. So
Not
this,
like this, not like this.
This part is moving.
Can you do this, what I'm doing now?
To show us the inner part.
Exactly. Eso es. So now,
up.
Entonces, down we go like this and up like this. This is very important.
Yeah.
So if we do it with the rhythm, as I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to put a rhythm very slow to see if you can understand me. A ver, Solea.
Am I doing it right? Can I try once? Sorry.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Gracias.
Perfect. When you arrive to 12, you start again in the 1, and you need to keep it. Do not forget, okay, where am I now? Because that's a big problem. You always have to know, okay, 3, 4, 5. You have to count, okay.
Correct.
For this, I recommend you to use a thing called solo compás. ¿Lo tenemos aquí o no?
Sí, pero hay que... Sí,
vale,
espera,
perdona,
hay que...
sí.
Primero, I'll share the
A ver si
screen
este
now.
sí. 4, 5, 6.
Solo compás. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on YouTube. You can find on YouTube also palmas por bulerías, palmas por tangos. This is quite useful thing that, well, if we have time, I will show you. We will show you. Deja de compartir. That many times when playing Spanish music, even classical Spanish music, instead of practicing with metronome, which can get quite boring, you can practice with solo compás. This is kind of flamenco metronome.
Yeah.
You can hear it. Solo compás or palmas por bulerías.
For example, no?
Yeah.
Can you hear this? This is a metronome of in 234. And you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. So when you are lost, you realize because you are not going with the rhythm anymore, and it's very useful. Okay, so for these things you can also use for these exercises I'm not doing now. You can use 3, 4, 6. You hear? You have the rhythm there. Maybe it's not very easy with the screen and everything, but I recommend to use those kind of flamenco metronomes, let's say, to study this. Okay, I continue with my exercise. We were doing 8 notes, so it was like, you did it very good. I think everybody, so 1, this could appear very boring, but it's very important when you keep the time, okay? When you are already good in the 8 notes, you go to triplets. We do it like this. We start up, okay? This time we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, with sounds would be. This is just warming up. It's not very interesting musically, but okay, but it's nice for here. And when you have the triplets, you go to ¿cómo se llama
fourth? No?
Yeah, semicorcheas, 16 notes, no?
16.
Wow. So you put 4 notes in each beat. Wow. No, que me pongas a la gente.
Sí.
I want to see if you are doing it or not. Okay. So it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Muy bien. Very good. Okay, see, and if you think, okay, this is too easy for me, you take a higher beat and you go 1, 2. And then already you are warming up really good. Okay. Oh, sorry, somebody's trying to talk. A ver. You have any questions?
Mensajes. How do you get reaction in feedback from pain? What do you do to overcome pain? Well, actually, we have to be really careful about what kind of pain we're speaking about, no? Because there is kind of pain that is an indicator that something goes wrong, actually, no?
Yeah.
But sometimes we really need to practice very, very much, a lot, that much that we can get pain, but we really have to distinguish this kind of normal pain of just practicing too much and too hard when we have an intensive concert or whatever. Then it's important to always take care of your hands, to do lots of stretching before and after playing. It's like very important things. And to put your hands in ice. The best way is to combine hot water with like very cold water. Hot, cold, hot, cold, and cold should be also very, very cold with ice. But still, I have to repeat, this is when you just feel that you practice that much that you have pain. But sometimes the pain is an indicator that something goes wrong, that you do something wrong. Maybe it's something about the position, maybe it's something about the back, the neck, the arm, whatever. So here we have to be really careful. And if you notice that it's not a normal pain, I would say that you would better go to see the doctor, because if you continue too much going through pain and going with pain, playing with pain, you can get to the moment that you cannot practice anymore.
Do you
So be careful.
practice the Alexander technique in order to overcome this discomfort? Because I remember someone.
Yeah, Alexander technique, it's great. I mean, all kind of also relaxation, and even more than relaxation techniques. All musicians, not only guitarists, we have to learn to listen to our bodies, to understand our bodies, and to learn how to get the signal from the head to relax our feet, or to relax our hand, or to sometimes the pieces that we play is that intense that we don't have time to relax. So then while we study that piece, we have to also plan the moment when we'll get this kind of signal to relax, you know, because sometimes the piece is that fast and all the time the rhythm and we say, okay, here this harmony change, and we have to remember that in this place exactly we have to get back and relax and reload somehow, right? So it's very important to listen to your body and to think about it and to dedicate attention to this.
Thank you so much.
There are a lot of questions. I'm going to try to be very fast and try to answer as many as possible. Can you please,
cool,
when Rayon says, can you please tell the chords in the chord progression? I don't understand if you mean the flamenco chords. If you mean what I was explaining before, can you please say Rayon? What are the chords? Or I don't understand that question.
Talk about the alzapudi. Can you please show the
yes, the flamenco chords. Okay, the flamenco chords. For me, the more important for you are now. If you play in A, let's say por medio, that is a typical por favoriria. Okay, so we have A major, but with with the
B
second, with the ninth flat 9, let's say. This chord, se ve bien, ¿no?
Sí.
It's very important, okay? So if you know that chord, you can combine it with this one, this B flat.
It's like B flat major, but with an open with an open first string.
Yeah. So this is first grade, second, and then for the third, C, but with the seventh and ninth.
With B flat and D.
It's like C, but this way it's very comfortable to play. So 1, 2, 3.
You always have the finger on the B flat.
Yeah, this is never moving. Okay, and one more. D minor. So here you have already the whole sequence. Okay. With these 4 chords, you can play many flamenco styles. You have tangos, for example.
Oh, ma'am, I have a question.
Sorry?
I'm Himagna Roy. I have a question.
Yes?
Can you please talk about tango compass?
Okay, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm with the chords, so you already have these 4 chords. If anybody didn't get it, you can ask me again and I explain it again, okay? In tangos, as I said, you can play tangos with these chords, and tangos is very nice because it's easy, okay, to understand because it's 4 beats. So your tangos is 4 beats. The first beat, you don't play palmas. You do with your foot on the ground. 1, okay? So you do 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this I want you to do with your palmas, no guitar first, because then you understand the rhythm. You do 1, 2, 3, 4. So the accents are the 2 and the 4th.
1 is foot.
1, 2,
2 accent.
3, 4. Okay.
3 light.
1, 2,
4
3,
accent.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. If you can play with me the palmas. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, pam, pam.
The first chord. Please show the first chord again. The first chord was.
Espérate, tía, porque si me pongo a mirar, o sea, me vuelvo loca. Entonces, vamos con esto. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay. So in any tangos that you find, you can play these palmas will work always. Solo compás, mira, I put this compás, for example. This is tangos. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do more complicated things like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. But now enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then for the guitar, I'm going to show you a very easy way of playing tangos. Okay. The one that we do with the foot, in the guitar, we do it with a golpe. Okay. 1, 1, and this is, I think it's easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1. So 1, but don't be afraid to beat your guitar if you have a golpeador.
Yeah.
1, and then with these 4 fingers, all at the same time. This is a rasgueado, like out. 1, 2, 3,
stroke not only with nail, but then you will make a hole, but also with meat. I mean, all with finger points.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly. And then remember the accentuation. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, this is something very easy, like basic, okay? But it's already something, because if you're with people and somebody's playing tangos, you can add something else, this. So after the 2, 1, 2,
2 and 3.
you go
and
out.
3.
You go up with your point finger. So. Okay, let's do these chords like B, C, B, A. Okay, I'm not going to confuse you more. B, C, B, and A. Okay, that's it. Then you can get more and more complicated. I wanted to explain this. But I don't know about your level, so I don't know if you are following me or not, and maybe I'm going to continue with more questions. And even after.
Hello, ma'am.
Sorry?
Hello. I have a question actually.
Yes?
Do we have to hit the strings while hitting the guitar, or just we have to hit the guitar only on the first beat?
Only the guitar, no strings.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
It's kind of percussion.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. I was saying before that if you want at the end, I can make a very little video and send it to the festival or whatever if somebody's interested. I don't know if that's possible.
The speed. Sorry, somebody is asking about the speed, but you refer to the scale speed or rasgueado speed, or what kind of speed? Because there are different exercises for scales and for rasgueado.
How do I increase this?
Yeah, the stunning speed.
Yeah.
The scales.
Now, when I hear this rhythm, it reminds me of a horse galloping, and I think they use it even in cowboy movies, maybe. I'm not really familiar, I'm just asking. So, is that the kind of emotion that you would like to portray when you're playing this rhythm? A galloping kind of feeling.
I don't know what to say. I would say tangos, it's a rhythm of in a party. It's something happy, and people play palmas, and the lyrics normally are kind of funny or not so sad, at least. But I think there are many different moods that you can have in tangos. You can also have a tango song complaining about your husband, or complaining about your mother, or about that you are hungry. I mean, there are many moods. Okay.
Could you please refer us to some YouTube links that we can watch with this rhythm, that galloping kind of rhythm that you just played? I would love to see some videos.
The same rhythm.
Okay, a ver, I'm going to show you my favorite solo compass of tangos. It's this one. Este. I'm going to put the link in the chat, okay?
Thank you very much.
It's 160. You have it there now. It's 160 beats, but as you know, in YouTube, you can make it slower if you want.
Sorry, I meant like a song or like a video.
A song.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, there are Camarón. My favorites, well, not my favorite, but one of the singers that you need to know, okay, is Camarón de la Isla.
Could you please write that in the chat?
I write here, I put a link of Camarón playing.
It's not visible, ma'am. It's not visible to us. Sorry.
Sorry?
It's not visible to us.
No, in the chat we put link. No?
Yeah, it's not visible to everyone, I think.
En privado. Yeah, just a second. Para. So let's change enviar chat. And there is an option to everybody.
Sí, igual que yo que estoy en privado, ¿no? Claro.
Todos, mira.
Todos, okay. I do it again.
Todos en la reunión.
Okay. Okay, this is.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Camarón. You can listen to everything from him. It will be.
No, este es Camarón.
It will be all right because he was very traditional, but also very modern. So nothing will be wrong with him. The best you can listen to Camarón de la Isla.
And the second link is the beat, the solo compass. And on YouTube, directly on YouTube, you can change the tempo.
If you want to play slower.
Do you know how to do it?
Yes, I think in settings 0.25, 0.5, am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Okay, okay, ¿qué más?
The force.
Fuerza, okay.
No, fours. Triplets. Triplets and fourth. How do you make the triplets?
Vale, I think somebody was asking about the exercise from before. If I'm wrong, you have to correct me.
The triplets, or maybe takatan.
Somebody have written, how do you do the triplets on right hand? Siddhartha Dasgupta. Maybe could you tell me what you mean? The chords?
Pregunta si this sevillana thing.
You mean this kind of triplets? Or this is what I was doing before. You have to be very specific because I don't understand. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to say the chords again. Can you please say the chords again? Scientific. Pues mira, the chords.
Says yes, ma'am, but the first one.
A.
The first one.
Yeah.
The first one.
First chord.
On right hand.
Right hand. Yeah, says the right hand on
the triplets.
The exercise from before. Okay, so it's you start up. Okay. Go out like this and up again. So this is a triplet. And then when you do it in the 12 beats, you go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If I do it faster, goes like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Can you please show other one?
Other one.
The rasgueo, no? Triplets rasgueo, I guess. The other one.
Which one? He will be
Tacatan, tacatan.
A ver, Adarsh Baraili, you mean this one?
Yes, ma'am. This.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So we go back to tangos and do just 2 chords. Okay, A and B flats.
I will just move the camera to show your fingers better.
Okay, and then we go golpe, so beat, up, down the ring finger, and down the point finger. So that's all. 1, 2, vale? 1. That's a very typical rasgueo. Let's forget the golpe now. Just the rasgueo.
1 up and 2 fingers down.
Because you can use it like this for tangos. Or you can use it like a round rasgueado. Okay? So it's very nice. But to study, you have to do it very slow and go like 1, 2, 3. And what I do for this kind of rasgueados, if you have a 3 notes rasgueado, I use a 4 notes metronome. So you never put the accent at the same note. You go like 1,
2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Always changing the accent.
A good method book to learn flamenco.
No good method book to learn flamenco. I mean, if there was one, I really would say it. But I never learned flamenco with a book because flamenco is a music that you learn with your ears. You have to listen. You have to learn the pieces by ear. I mean, if you want to learn a piece by Paco de Lucía or by Tomatito, by Vicente Amigo, you can buy a book, and of course, you can help yourself reading the score. It really helps because sometimes are very difficult things and you can do them. You don't know if they are playing here, they are playing here. Okay, but you have to take the piece and listen to it 1,000 times and go and see if the book is right, or maybe it's written in the 3rd string, but you hear this is not the 3rd string, this is the 2nd string. You don't have good flamenco books. I'm sorry.
I will just put this web page Flamencopolis, which is nice, but it's more informative and it's more let's
for
say
flamenco.
It's for flamenco theory, let's say, but you can get an approach.
Flamencopolis.com.
Again, this is en privado, enviar a...
¿Por qué no poner el privado?
Todos.
Okay. Okay, I go back to this again.
We're 3 minutes. Wait, okay.
This is one rasgueado I love. Another one I wanted to show you, if you like, is this. You are going to love it. This one, like 5. We don't use this finger much in the classical guitar, but in the flamenco you do. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 back with the point finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very nice and very useful. You can also start it very slow. What I do is put my finger here in the 6th string and keep it here. And then lanzar, ¿cómo se dice? Like when you throw something, like so.
This exercise is also fantastic. This exercise is also fantastic, just to strengthen your fingers, just to make them more strong. Because the classical guitarists, we always use this kind of technique to close the finger, but we're like have very weak muscles opening fingers. So if we practice this kind of rasgueos, not only to play rasgueos, but just to strengthen our muscles, our opening muscles, we'll get much faster scales also, because in the scales we use both kind of muscles. So just take note of this kind of exercises to make stronger.
Yeah,
muscles.
I use this, for example, for soloists, like it's very nice. You can use it for alegrías. Yeah.
One thing I've noticed.
It takes time.
So sorry. One thing I've noticed is that it's very difficult to play softly when you play flamenco. You have to play loudly.
Not really. If you want to play, but you can do. If you want, in my band, I have a flamenco band. They are not very typical, but we use a lot of soft notes. We do a lot of pizzicato, a lot of, but probably
rasgueo. No, but rasgueo.
I'm sorry. I think I should have been more specific. I meant to say when we do this.
I think actually this was invented to make it more strong. Originally.
Okay. But I'm going to say something. If you notice, the good flamenco players don't play loud. Only when they want to do something really at the end, like. But if you see Vicente Amigo and you see him playing rumba, for example, or you see José Mi Carmona.
Wow. Yeah.
You don't go. That's old times, okay?
Unless you want that power.
This is something important. You don't need to play loud.
It has to be clear. It has to be clear.
You have to play with rhythm, but not loud. Only loud if you want to play loud. But to play loud, it doesn't mean you are playing more flamenco.
It sounds so jazzy. What is the influence of flamenco on jazz?
There are a lot of flamenco players who are very much influenced by jazz because, as I said before, the flamenco started with 2 chords, maybe 4 chords, and with those 4 chords you cannot do many things. So they have to borrow Brazilian chords, they have to borrow jazz chords to play their stuff, because otherwise it becomes very boring.
So jazz came before flamenco?
Yes.
Okay.
Jazz came before flamenco because before flamenco guitar became something important. I mean,
I see.
The flamenco guitar, it's 20th century. Okay.
I see. I always thought it came with the classical guitar.
I mean, the performing, no? Performing,
yeah.
Like concert flamenco guitar.
But in the 19th century, you only had 2 important flamenco guitars, Ramon Montoya and
it was mainly accompaniment. It was what I was thinking. From 19th century, we had already many concert classical guitars, like soloists, but flamenco players were mainly accompanying. It was a traditional instrument, and we're just a couple of soloists. well known.
The first guitarist who started to play flamenco guitar as a soloist and play really pieces was Sabicas, and he was composing with other chords and also using a lot of classical elements, South American elements. But Sabicas is already from the 20th century. So in the 19th century, the guitar players were playing with two chords, really. So in the 20th century, when they wanted to make concerts and these two chords or these four chords were already
Not
enough, they had to start thinking, okay, what, and then discover the whole guitar. And now in the flamenco guitar, the people do amazing things, really.
That's
like
wonderful. I really
that
loved what you were
don't
playing.
know. Yeah,
I was just grooving with that, you know, it was so nice. It was so cool.
Let's answer a couple of questions more. I think we're a bit out of time.
Thank you so much for your time.
It is okay to use electric pickup on the nylon strings guitar. Yes, it's better to use both pickup and micro, right? But sometimes a feedback problem.
We do use we have
Marta
our pickup,
and I have
microphone
this,
here.
Yeah, exactly. We have, yeah, you have the same thing. I don't know if you can see it. I have a little micro here and pickup, and Marta has the whole here, and I'm like a classical one because she has different position, and I have the connection here.
Please suggest some flamenco pieces for beginners. You mean Anarga? Do you mean pieces for playing yourself?
Yes. I mean for playing.
Okay. I think I would go to the oldest pieces. Like I write names of.
Espera. Sí, escribe, pero voy a cambiar esto.
Names of guitar players that you can try to find.
Pieces by Ramon Montoya.
Pieces. Sabicas has a piece called Farruca.
Malagueña también.
That is quite easy. De Ramón Montoya, es que no es fácil, Niño Ricardo. I write names of guitarists, and you have to find their pieces, okay?
Yeah.
Probably it's better to, when you want to learn those pieces, when you read, it looks very complicated, because when you see the rasgueados written down, there are 100 notes. But when you listen to them and read at the same time, then you realize that it's much easier. Okay.
Understand.
There was a question how to learn flamenco pieces without the score. It's not easy, but what's called the program that we were using to slow down? When we had to take the notes, to write down the notes from the recording of Sabicas. It was a guitar duo, and we were using the trick of slowing down the music, because if the scale is like very fast and the notes are, there are not only notes that are in the harmony, like we have C major scale, so we know all the notes.
A ver, pero lo podemos hacer aquí, mira.
Sí.
El VLC.
VLC, yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can you please tell some exercise to free the fingers for flamingo?
What did you say?
Yeah.
Just exercise to free the fingers, like they felt like they're not moving so fast, no?
Independence, no?
Yeah, independence. Yeah.
No.
Can you show me? Que no sé quién está hablando. I don't see you. Well, I'm looking for you, but there are so many people. Can you, okay, a ver, you are called Pius?
Yeah.
Okay. So show me again, please.
Yeah.
And what is your question again?
My question is, like, you showed us, like you told some patterns to play, right?
I didn't understand you. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I will write it down in the chat, okay?
Exactly, better. Write it down.
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentation seems to can be back to that. Estamos pasando ya un cuarto de hora.
No, hasta y media, ¿no?
No.
Ah, ya está. Ah, we are already.
We had to finish at 4.
Ah, okay.
But we've,
can you show us some rumba instrument techniques? Okay, I think we have to finish the lesson, but I'm going to show you something that I love, and this is very easy for rumba. Okay, and with this we are going to finish. Later we can try to answer to the other questions, because I am happy to answer to everything, and Katia too. Rumba, okay? This is a rumba catalana, and this is very easy for everybody to play. It's easy. So when you play, with the same chords, or okay, with these 4 chords you can already play. And the technique is golpe with the whole hand, like this, right? Okay, like this. Yeah, then you go up like this. Ponme el vídeo antes, no me lo has puesto, que se veía muy bien. So we have 1, so 1, 2, okay, 1, 2, and that's it. And then you repeat. So you put your hand, you take it off like this, and then go down with all the fingers and up with your thumb. And that's it. 1, 2,
up,
3,
down,
and 4.
Up. Did you get it?
So with this you make up some kind of percussion, and then you play your chords, and that's it.
I will.
Okay, so I think you can see the video later because they are recording, and then you will have.
We can share the slides also. The people asking about the PowerPoint slides. Not many information, but there, but we will share it for sure. It's no problem. Okay, comparto pantalla, or we can send it.
Veda?
No, Veda is not here already. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, she's not here.
So what we are going to do, we're going to try to share with the festival everything that we have explained. The exercises, I can record them again in a little video. The
links we can introduce to the PowerPoint presentation.
The PowerPoint,
we can make the PDF.
All the rhythms that we talk about, how to study with the rhythms, because we thought we were going to have much more time, but it went very fast. So we are going to make a little video, like just with everything, share it with the festival, and maybe they can send it to all of you. Okay.
Yeah.
And anyway, I think they recorded this session, so you can have it and cut the parts that you need or watch it again or whatever. But we are happy to help you. You can also contact us in our YouTube channel. That is Dúo del Mar, I think, no?
Yeah.
Or in our Instagram, Facebook, whatever. You can send us your questions, and we are really lately very bored because we have no concerts at all. So we can give you all the information that you want, okay?
Muchas gracias. I followed you on Instagram.
Muchas gracias, and we are happy to know you, and we see you next year in India.
Thank you so much.
Before we wrap up, can we just all take a group
Thank
photo?
you.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Corre, porque ya no queda tanta gente. ¿Esto cómo se quita?
Cerrar. Ajá. Ujú.
Ponte.
Smile, everyone.
Ok. ¿Lo puedo mandar al grupo o no?
Yeah.
A ver. Archivo. Su ordenador. Wait a second, I'm going to try to send it to you.
I think it's already sent, huh?
Ah, sí, ya está. Ok, there you have it. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you to everybody.
Thank you very much. Yes, we will share it. We wish we could have more time to answer all the questions. And good luck with Scarp and enjoy
I
flamenco.
would like to thank you on behalf of everyone today present here and for this wonderful experience. And if anyone wants to like unmute themselves and say something to them, you're free to do so.
No me he enterado de nada. ¿Estás enterado?
It's we couldn't hear you well, but okay, si alguien quiere decir algo, creo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Vale.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Hope to see you everybody tomorrow in the concert.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.